I've been told that broken Greg Cody was supposed to be in today and just canceled at the last minute, citing knee pain. Knee is keeping him out today, but not tomorrow. He's already decided that his knee is going to be fine tomorrow. Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Have you ever missed a day of work because your knee hurt? Yes or no? What's happening back home, Chris, that you can tell me about your father and your mother's frustration with your father and his trick knee?
I was over there for dinner last night. He was cooking. He was up and about, limping. Got a limp to him. But my mom was frustrated with him because he's not using his cane. He's been instructed to use the cane for a good week or so, and he hasn't even hit a week yet. So he was up and about, and he cooked us a dinner. But he did say, I only have one show in me this week.
Old people can be strange about canes and walkers. Your dad is going to refuse the walker with tennis balls
Stubborn
on the bottom. He's going to be somebody. He thinks he's 30 years younger than he is.
When he had the surgery and he was leaving the hospital, they were like, all right, crutches. And he couldn't do crutches. I guess maybe the arm, like shoulder strength. I don't know where you need the strength to really do crutches, but he had to do a walker because he couldn't figure out the crutches, so he had to, which is what I was like, I think that means you're old when you can no longer do crutches and you need the walker.
If you had to take a guess, when is the last time your father did exercise?
Oof. Oh, no. Well, he considers exercise the walking around his house he just does on a daily basis, like from the office to the garage. He's told his doctor, I've said this before, he tells his doctor, how active are you? He's like, oh, I walk around my house. He literally used that as like, that's my exercise. So to answer your question, I would guess since he put on clothes and was like, I'm going to exercise outside of maybe playing tennis with you, I bet it's been 25 years since he was like, I'm going to work out right now.
It's kind of amazing that someone decided we're going to rig this walker with tennis balls, and everybody's like, yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. No insurance company came up with like their own same exact thing, but it's like gray and it costs you $300. We're just like, yeah, no, the tennis balls, it's actually perfect for this.
And the tennis balls are only so that you don't scratch up the floor in your home, correct?
Right, but
that's
there's
why
nothing
they're
better.
there.
Right. But like a medical company could have came up with something that's like a tennis ball, but they don't. It's just like, we can't top the tennis ball. It is absolutely perfect for this.
You have stunned Jeremy, who is staring at you with open-mouthed awe.
This is one of the greatest in-show observations we've had in years. This is great.
I think you're overselling it a little.
I really am blown
Mike,
away.
don't be modest, Mike. No,
Yeah,
don't
do not have modesty
Mike,
here.
not you, Mike.
The tennis ball is better at that than it is at being a tennis ball.
That's right.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at
No,
Le
I
Batard
disagree.
Show. Is the tennis ball better at being something that doesn't scratch the floor on your walker than it is at being a tennis
Let me
ball?
tell you something. Racquetball, fine. It's closer to being a replacement for the tennis ball than whatever the tennis ball is for the bottom of a walker.
That's right. Yep.
It's just a really good observation. I don't know why you would choose that moment for humility.
So long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air. When the chips are down and you throw a prayer. When your team is primed and on the hunt, it's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control. And we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack.
I will talk in this hour about the Miami Heat, the Miami Hurricanes, and the month-long first-round playoff series of Inter Miami. But I want to begin today and see if you can get me that video from the locker room where the Dolphins celebrated the winning of the Super Bowl. I believe that yesterday's Bills result is among the most inexplicable in the sport this year. I'm thinking off the top of my head, Cleveland beating Green Bay and Carolina beating Green Bay, because I think Carolina and Cleveland are bad football teams, and I think Green Bay to be a good one, to be the most surprising results I've seen this season. But I was not only flatly stunned by what the Dolphins did yesterday in a really weird week, okay? Because it's super unusual to fire your GM and keep the coach in season. It's not something that most people do. It's easier to fire the coach and keep the GM in season. It's a weird move for the Dolphins to say, we're going to stick with Tua and McDaniel because we're kind of stuck with them, but Greer, you've got to go. But the Bills losing that game, I have not seen anyone come up with anything that resembles an explanation for me. You can go weather, you can go letdown game, you can go it's just football. But I haven't heard an actual good explanation for how the Bills can look that way against the Chiefs. And then Josh Allen can have the worst game I've seen him have since he was terrible. I didn't think that can happen to the Bills offense. I actually understood what happened Bills against Chiefs. Chiefs, their weakness, their greatest weakness is run defense up the middle. That's the Bills' greatest strength, running the ball up the middle. But for the Dolphins to allow every running back in the league and every backup to go for 100 yards and then all of a sudden stop James Cook and turn those Bills receivers into something that doesn't look very impressive, and then on offense to dominate the game and win for the first time against the Bills in more than 1,100 days was lunacy, and I don't have a good explanation. Have any of you read or heard?
James Cook was banged up. Like, he almost didn't play. So I think that probably had something to do with how effective the Dolphins were at stopping the Bills' run game.
Then you go and compare the way the beginning of the game started, and it was like, oh, we're going to lose 100-0. Like, you've never seen a game start that way. The Dolphins were called for a false start and used a timeout
For the first play?
before an official play even happened in the game. You've never seen anything like
How
that.
did they overcome that and still win?
And on that opening drive, Tua threw an interception.
A punt. Well, it was a punt.
Oh,
If you talk to
please.
McDaniel, it's a punt.
That's
He told
not-
them before the game on third down, throw it long.
It's
like a
so
punt.
stupid. This whole arm punt thing is so stupid.
It's an arm punt.
How about getting a first down? Arm punt. How about get a first down?
Let's talk about this game. The funniest thing from the game, and I'm telling you the game was confusing, but the funniest thing from the game to me was McDermott, who somehow looks dumber wearing glasses.
It's unbelievable.
The rare.
That's I think, does it make his eyes too big? I think that's it. You're not supposed to look dumber when you put glasses on.
The idea that McDermott on the sideline was yelling after a broken tackle, and Achane had like 200 of his yards after broken tackles. That's the most tackles he's ever broken in a game. And again, almost 200 of his yards after initial contact. McDermott screaming, wrap him up on a tackle at Bosa, who's got a cast on his arm. Like, it would be more difficult to wrap anybody up with a cast on their arm, right? Correct? We're in agreement that if someone's got a cast on their arm, they're more likely to be susceptible to the broken tackle if they've got a cast on their arm. McDermott, from the safety of the sidelines, telling Bosa of all people, Bosa, who's a good pass rusher and a good football player, wrap him up as if that's not what Bosa was trying to do with a cast on his arm, was lunacy. But that Bills result, you tell me if I'm wrong, to me, I'd put it at the top of the list on most surprising results this entire season, where you're a 9-point dog at the beginning of the week, it slides down to 8 over the course of the week, and then the game comes and you just throttle them. Yep. The Bills can't do anything offensively when they've got the MVP at quarterback, and then all of a sudden the MVP is fumbling the ball, and they're just... It was a disaster for the Bills on the day the Patriots are going and they're beating Baker in Tampa when Baker's got the opportunities to beat them late, and now the Patriots are at the top of the division.
When does the realization sweep over the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen that their window closed? Like they had an area, they had a time frame there.
Boy, you've got some takes today.
They had a time frame there where the Patriots are terrible. Patriots looking like they're back.
And
the Bills lost the Dolphins.
I'm really pumped at the possibility of having an AFC playoff in which the Bills and the Chiefs have to do it on the road. Yeah. That they don't have any home games.
Fascinating. The Chiefs are going to have to do it on the road. Like that seems almost definite at this point.
Yeah, but
right?
them and what kind of odds could you have gotten before the season that they're going to be in the playoffs, but they're not going to have a home game?
Let's talk a little bit, though, about the Patriots, because Drake May's deep throwing ability is a special thing, and they're really well coached. The things that you saw at the end of the first half with Vrabel, where he's just squeezing the time out of the first half so that he can get the ball back in the second half, and then on 4th and short, they're throwing it to Diggs, and Diggs is making an amazing play on 4th and short.
Yeah, I don't know if he's getting the same kind of separation, but the hands are as good as ever. He's scoring touchdowns all the time, and there was a really cool moment when Henderson it broke out of the pile, bounced it outside, is running for 80 yards, and he's so fast that he's looking to the sideline for coaching. Do I go in the end zone or do I do the thing where I kneel before? He's doing that mid-stride looking at Vrabel.
Maybe the Bills should have kept him.
It's been a minute since the Patriots had a skill guy who was that fast. Like I'm thinking back to Randy Moss. Like it's been a minute since the Patriots had a skill position player who could break an 80-yard run. We saw yesterday how the Colts are going to lose in the playoffs. It's going to be Daniel Jones is going to be throwing to Warren the entire game, and they should have lost yesterday because the ball he threw on 4th and 2 to Warren wasn't any kind of open. Simply wasn't open. And the things that happened in that game were amazing, including my favorite moment from that game, which is the pregame interview. After 37 years since the Berlin Wall fell, Bijan Robinson, your thoughts? That's how that game started in Germany, where they were asking Bijan Robinson questions about the Berlin Wall.
What do you say?
That's my gimmick.
I mean, it's a perfect opportunity for it, man.
It doesn't really matter what he said. All that really matters is that they asked him the question before the game. That Colts game had some funny sound. The referee at the end of regulation, first of all, this is great. They got the coin flip wrong. And they got the coin flip wrong because when you're in Berlin, you don't know who the home team is. And they just didn't know who the home team was. And the referee didn't know that the game, or the way he was saying it, because I'm guessing he was a little nervous talking to, 80,000 Germans in a stadium. The referee kept saying that the game was over when they were headed into overtime. Can we just play the sound?
And then we hear Pereira.
Can we just hear the sound of the referee just wildly confused? And he really needed to, he needed to
stop talking.
And he wouldn't. He just kept yammering. Play that sound, please.
The timeout to delay the 10-second runoff. So there is a 10-second runoff. Plus, they offered to wind the clock so it really ends the game at this point. End of regulation. We'll roll to overtime.
So again, I mean, I'm not sure what he said there. He said that they're going to go to overtime, but if they're going to properly enforce this, they should have reset the clock to 11 seconds.
They put 1 second on the game clock.
There it is, Mike. We're waiting for it, and right on cue.
I trust Pereira more than I trust those referees.
What happened there?
He just got really nervous, confused, and got everything wrong.
At what point is he like, you know what? Give me a second. I need to gather myself.
And then they went to the coin flip, and they got that wrong as well. In a game,
He had the wrong person call the flip.
where microscopic inches and the margins are tiny, and the referee clearly did not know what it is that he was doing. That game yesterday is why people don't trust the Bills. Like that game,
The Colts.
No. They don't trust the Colts either. The Colts won that game, but I'm talking about that game yesterday. I transitioned without telling you I was transitioning. That game yesterday is why it is that people do not trust the Buffalo Bills to do anything meaningful. But the thing that's weird about the game, the thing that's weirdest about the game isn't even that the Dolphins won, though that's weird enough. The weirdest thing about the game, the Bills never lose like that. They never lose like that. They're always in the game because of who their quarterback is and because they can go get offense. Did the rain slow them down that much? It can't just be that James Cook was banged up. Every running back in the league and every backup running back in the league has gone for 100-plus yards against the Dolphins'
Brother,
run defense.
I don't know how they stopped him. You were asking for reasons. He almost didn't play. That's all I'm telling you.
I am confused by everything that happened with the Dolphins game yesterday. And I have yet to hear a good explanation. I've heard some explanations, but a better explanation than football.
I gave you James Cook. It wasn't good enough for you. I'll keep hitting the books, seeing what I can find.
I don't know. There doesn't have to be an explanation.
No,
does there?
See what they did in the A gap.
There does need to be an explanation. We hyper-examine all of these games. There does need to be an explanation for the things that you saw.
I mean,
There you go. Let's add hot to the list.
I mean,
let's come up with a list.
Mike McDaniel has played the Bills. We went over this on the Thursday nighter. Like he plays them tight. He doesn't get the results often, but he does know how to keep a game against the Buffalo Bills tight. And small sample here, when they play the Bills at home on a 1 p.m. start, that's when you get your best punch.
That was the last time they beat him.
You say that he knows how to keep these games close, and I will tell you they have not beaten the Bills in 1,100 days. So while they might know how to keep it close, they lose. They lose consistently. As sure a result as you will get in that sport is that the Dolphins are going to lose to the Bills when they play the Bills. The Bills have overtaken the AFC East, at least in part, because the Dolphins can never beat them.
But in those 1,100 days, how many of those were 1 o'clock Sunday starts?
Yeah.
Are you guys ready for a Spain 9:30 start?
No.
True crappy game next weekend with Washington?
I'm in on it.
I'll tell you, once it happened to me again yesterday. It never fails. And next week's going to be a true test because of the Dolphins. I wake up on Sunday and it's, oh yeah, there's a game going on. It was the second quarter before I realized.
You sleep in on Sunday until past 9:30.
Yeah, player. And I had a really late Saturday night, man.
Go on.
Government got me.
What
Government
happened?
shut down, Dan.
What happened?
I got home. I walked into my house at 3 a.m. on Sunday. Government shut down.
What happened? Flight problems?
Yeah, I was stuck in the Atlanta airport for a long time on Saturday. It turns out you need air traffic controllers to fly. And if you don't have any of them working, they ground the flights. And so I was just chilling in the Atlanta airport for a very, very, there was this pocket apparently from 7 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. where we don't have air traffic controllers. So no flights are taking off. And it's just I just had to chill in the airport for a long time.
What's your strategy when you got a lot of time to kill in an airport? Are you a floor layer? Find a spot in the corner?
Am I a floor layer?
So, you ever see these people? People lay on the floor at airports.
I look down on those people.
Really?
A floor layer in
they're
the
on the floor.
airport?
I've got 4 hours to kill here. What am I going to sit in these awkward chairs
How
for
about
4
you're
hours?
not going to be disgusting?
Atlanta's actually a really good airport
For
spending
floor
the
laying?
night. Yeah, because I had to spend the night in the Atlanta airport once. And
Why would you do that?
I didn't do it
Like,
electively,
you didn't
dude.
choose to. Zach, what are you talking? You're just I'm going to go hang out at the airport and lay down.
Hey, ladies basketball team, you know what's a great idea? Let's not go home. Let's spend the night here.
No, go to the hotel. Go to a hotel.
No, it's not that
No?
simple. It's not that simple.
Did you go to a hotel?
Well, no, because my flight was still scheduled to leave
exactly.
that night.
So what do you do if you have 4 hours to kill? I don't have time to go to a hotel.
All right, everybody calm down.
You're judging me.
I would've loved
What'd
to.
you do? Just sat there?
Look, if they told me at 6 p.m. that I wasn't going to be delayed into oblivion, that I was actually going to have to spend the night in Atlanta, then I probably get the hotel. But you reach a tipping point sometime around midnight when you realize, oh boy, I'm probably going to board a flight here at 6, which means I got to get to the airport with my daughter around 4. You know what? I'm just going to sleep on this floor.
Ugh.
That's what I'm going to do.
Ugh. That's how I say to
He's
that.
fine,
Ugh.
He did it and he survived.
I sat in the chair and I watched the Heat game. That's what I did.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you judge the person who lays down on the airport floor? How long were you in the Atlanta airport?
For 6 hours.
Let me tell you
sucked.
something. That Vegas airport floor, comfy.
Get out of here.
Comfy.
I was going to say that might be where the line is.
Filthy.
Dude, are you kidding? That one and the Tahoe one. The Reno airport
Oh,
floor.
no, that one I'll lay on.
Reno airport floor.
I'll lay the
that's
shit
a
out of that
top
one.
3 floor to
I
sleep
would never
on.
lie in the airport.
I'll lay face first
I judge all of them. You're filthy.
on my stomach.
You guys are a special kind of disgusting, and I'll lay down on the floor. I got no problems
You
laying
do it
down
all
on
the
the floor.
time.
Yeah, but an airport floor.
So gross.
come on.
An airport floor.
Go sleep standing up.
Why do I have to sleep?
Is there an airport? Is there an airport hotel in the Atlanta airport?
Yeah.
There is a place that you can spend some money and rest, and everybody got delayed that day, so it was all fully booked, and there just weren't any good options.
Didn't realize you travel in such a large group.
Okay. I did actually. It was with the Miami Hurricanes women's basketball.
Well, this
team.
was just me. Okay.
One of the things that I saw reported yesterday, I had not seen it before yesterday, it may have been reported before yesterday, is that the Bills, because of their wide receiver problems, and man, I thought Shakir and Coleman would be better for Josh Allen. I thought Shakir and Coleman would be too, I mean, he must have targeted Coleman 8 or 9 times yesterday and only got 3 catches out of it.
That's what he does. Dating back to FSU. Told you about this guy.
Yeah, I liked him out of FSU. I thought they got a steal getting him as late as they did in the first round, and he hasn't been that good for them.
He had 8 targets yesterday.
Yeah, and the thing that I had heard reported that I had not heard before yesterday is that the Bills were offering a first and a third for Waddle. That is not something that I had heard before yesterday. And a first and a third from the Bills isn't going to be very good because it's going to be a late first-round pick, and so they decided not to trade Waddle at the trade deadline, and Matthew Berry told you Waddle was going to have a big game against the Bills defense. The Bills defense has some real problems that are going to be bigger problems in the playoffs. Their run defense is a problem. Ed Oliver not being healthy is a problem, and their defense in general is...
The window's closed, Dan.
What?
Yeah.
They've got the MVP of the league at the quarterback position. I would not...
Okay.
You're going to close the window on them?
Yeah. Like, no one's going to go into the playoffs favoring the Bills to win the AFC.
They just beat the Chiefs at home a week ago.
They beat the Chiefs at home always. They literally always do that.
In the regular season.
They're 5-1 against Mahomes in the regular season.
Okay, but they just did that. They did that to a Chiefs team that everybody was saying was fully and all the way back. Look, do you know how confusing it is to me to see the Chiefs have more trouble against the Bills than the Dolphins did on offense? Explain that to me. Like, you could go heat, you could go rain, you could go James Cook is banged up, but the offense of the Dolphins had more success against the Bills defense than the Chiefs did.
Dan, Jeremy has busted open the books, and we have another reason as to why Miami pulled off this upset.
That's right. Per Next Gen Stats, Dan, Allen's average time to throw was 3.53 seconds. That was the longest of his career. The longest of his career in this game. Receivers can't get open.
Shut down corners.
Maybe he should request a trade because they won't get him any weapons.
Well, the window's closed.
Window's closed. What are you going to do?
If the window's closed, your next step is you got to request a trade.
I'll give up 2 and a first.
I saw that stat of 3.5 seconds, and I still thought that the Dolphin defense is banged up enough and bad enough that I would think that if I'm giving Josh Allen 3.5 seconds of time, I'm going to be in trouble because I don't trust that defense at all. I will say it again. The Chiefs' offense that everyone says, and I agree, is fully back, struggled more against that defense than the Dolphins did. Now, part of that was ball control. Part of that was the fact that the Bills just kept giving the ball to James Cook to run up the middle, and so they just held the ball a lot, and Kansas City didn't have it as much as the Dolphins did.
How about this Dolphin team fighting for their head coach, huh? Toxic vibes. No one saw this win coming.
Let's show for people here something that people are saying may have been AI generated, but I don't believe that people are so bored or that AI is so
really?
bored.
People are bored, Dan. I don't know what
That
you're
they
talking
would
about.
create this fictitiously, but it is being said that this is real, that Mike McDaniel, on his way home past the elbow room, which is famously Bills Central, whenever it is that the Bills come down here and win, as they so often have over the last 1,100 days, it is said that Mike McDaniel in a black matte car just swung by the elbow room and hung out of the car, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you drive with an arm out of the car, out of the window at Le Batard Show? Because Mike McDaniel is flexing a little bit there as he drives past, and he's looking straight into the elbow room.
I see all 5 fingers. This is not AI for me.
That's always the first thing I look at. I look if the fingers are intact.
It looks like a normal hand. I see a watch.
Does it have to be AI or could it just be Photoshop? Could someone have taken that?
No,
image of him from somewhere
Photoshop.
else?
Nobody Photoshops anymore. No, get with the times. It's always AI. No one Photoshops anymore.
Yep. I'm doing the math on what time the game would have. It gets dark down here, like with the time change, like 6 o'clock. Could it have been that light out? after he leaves.
You know what? That's actually
The game if the
that's
game ends
good detective work.
Game ends at 4:20. He does press com. He's probably, what time is he leaving the
Definitely
the
not
stadium?
leaving before
5:20.
5:30.
It takes probably a half hour to get from the stadium to Elbow Room.
I don't even think he's leaving by 5:30.
That's the only part of this that makes me skeptical.
That's good detective work.
Thank you.
Speaking of the confusions of AI, can you guys get me some information on something my wife told me? I've gotten used to my wife gasping now when she is looking at the phone, and there are any number of things that it can always be when she's gasping. Sometimes we're just bombing random, boats in the ocean. It's just, there are all sorts of things every day that make her gasp. But today I was surprised by learning of the existence of a Tilly Norwood, a name I had not heard before. It's an AI actress that has been created, but she also told me that there are 40 more in the shop, that they are creating actors and actresses to replace our actors and actresses, so that you still can't recreate the writing. That's going to take a minute to tell the stories as well as they need to be told. But I don't know how it is that the future is going to look with fake actors created by AI.
I could have sworn we had a strike about that.
We did have a strike about that because the writers and others, in fact, Mike Schur was in the middle of that, trying to prevent Disney and others from being able to put actors out of work by artificially creating actors. But Jeremy, can you get me any information that you can on both Tilly Norwood, which is a name for a fake actress that has just been created by computers, and this army of actors that are being prepared, that are in the shop to replace other actors?
I'll find some more information in a second. I know that as of about a month ago, when they were talking about Tilly, they said that agencies were lining up to represent her. What does that mean? That's not a real person.
What's
What does that mean?
It's a good question. I believe we're all going to be asking it over the next few years. What does that mean? Is something that is going to be a part of our lexicon for a while.
A lot of milk in her coffee.
You're done with the Bills?
Yeah, you can't trust that team. That team's never going to win anything. I think the window's closed in the AFC. So I do.
Can you objectify AI?
I want to.
You can't say that, Zaslow. You can't say that. They've dominated the division. They've dominated the division. They go 17 straight years without winning a playoff game, and they've dominated the division since because they have this quarterback.
Yeah, I don't trust that team at all. And yesterday, I derived actually a lot of pleasure watching that ass kicking right there. I love watching that Bills team lose. I love the idea that you had all of those fans there at Elbow Room yesterday who thought they were going to be there for a big party. They're going to crush the Dolphins. Game was never close. Hell, it sounded like the crowd at the stadium yesterday was mostly Bills fans. I love that those people were sour yesterday. That team is never going to win anything. This Dolphin team sucks, okay? And they killed the Bills yesterday. This team's not going to win anything. Buffalo right now is 6th in the AFC. Like, they're not even near the top. They're not going to go on the road for 3 games.
They are near the top. Zaslow.
5 teams ahead of them.
By definition, though,
Zaz.
5 teams.
5 teams.
They've got 3 losses, and the others have 2. What do you mean? There's not a one team. There's not a one-loss team in the AFC, is there?
If you're 6th, are you close to the top?
Yep. If you're 1 game within the 2 lost teams, you are close to the top.
That was not the question.
Are there 5 2-loss teams, and then the Bills? The Bills yesterday, because of that result, are now 1 game back of the 5 teams.
Where do they? What are the standings today? Today they're 6th. If Buffalo loses next week, they may be out of the playoff picture.
Is that close, Dan? Is that close? Because 6th is not close.
6 is not close to 1st. Do you
Today,
understand how standings
not
work?
at the top.
They are 1 game out, are they not? Or are they a game and a half out? Is there someone who has a game in hand on them?
You're trying to throw semantics here.
Game in hand.
And I'm looking at standings. I know that number 1 is the top and number 6 is not.
Okay, but name the 5 teams with 2 losses.
The Colts are the 1 seed with 2
and
losses.
you're doing this also without looking at the rest of the schedule as well. But go ahead, name the teams with.
Do you want to play a little win-loss?
I
love
don't
this
want to.
game.
I don't.
Sounds like you do.
No, what I want to do is question your overreaction and your knee jerking because you haven't even looked at the schedule and you're declaring the Bills' window closed.
I'm looking right now. It's a tough schedule. Next week?
That's good. I'm looking right now. Tough schedule.
Next week. I realized that once I let it lay out. I was like, I should keep going. They got the Buccaneers next week. Bucks Bucks just lost to the Patriots. Okay. Bucks next week.
Tough one.
Fired up. Don't want to lose 2 in a row if you're Tampa. That's a tough game. I'm going to let you think about the rest of the schedule, though.
All right.
It must get easier after that game. Zaz, you see that late fumble by Josh Allen?
They definitely don't play the Texans.
You see that late fumble?
That.
You see that late fumble by Josh Allen?
You know what my favorite moment of the game yesterday
Not going to
was?
listen to me?
Yeah, well, I saw the fumble. Yeah, I saw
See
it.
how it happened?
Yeah.
It was a punch. Look at the picture.
Can you harass an AI?
In the Washington game yesterday, by the way, somebody just punched St. Brown. Just punched him.
We're okay with that, huh?
That's a different kind of punch, though.
Everyone's okay with that.
I know, but
that punching, we should get out of here.
Why was it a penalty? We're okay with punching.
If he was holding a football.
Yeah. If he had a football in his hand, it's okay. It's the stupidest thing. It's so dumb.
You saying the Bills' window is closed is comparably dumb,
It's a take.
I would say. It's too strong a take. You can't do that.
You know what? The window may never been open because when's the last time they were in the Super Bowl? This window may not have been open. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe it's not closed. Can't be closed if it's never open. Maybe I am wrong.
Let's segue better than I did from Colts Bills earlier into some things going on in local sports here, Inter Miami among them. But before I get to that, do you guys know the Heat player through 6 games, through his first 6 games, who has more points than any Heat player ever through 6 games? By a lot, by the way. It's not by a little. Are you familiar with this stat I'm about to give?
I don't think so.
Alonzo Mourning scored like 117 points in his first 6 games as a member of the Heat. LeBron James scored like 122 points. Dwayne Wade was coming off the bench at the beginning.
Okay, in their Heat debut. Okay, gotcha.
No, the first 6
Their first
Heat
ever
games.
6, yeah.
Their first
Yeah.
6 Heat games. Norman Powell has scored more points, like 20-plus points than any other Heat player in his first 6 games. And it's not just that he's made the Heat a good deal better. The Clippers are now worse because they do not have Norman Powell. This has been an important player that was somehow acquired for Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson.
And he's an easy player to like. He's easy to watch. Seems like a likable enough guy. I'm taking to this Norman Powell. I like him.
You're probably taking to him because he scored more points through 6 games
helps.
than any
It's a
Heat
vibes
player.
thing, too.
Yes.
You saw him with Jovic after the game. That was adorable.
He has made a difference, and I believe that this is a Heat playoff team. I believe they will have trouble all season winning on the road. They will also have trouble late in games, although against Portland they did pull away late. But I do believe this team will have trouble winning road games.
We don't know yet what their late game strategy is going to look like because they have yet to play a game with all 3 of Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, and Norman Powell. The fact that they're going to have all 3 of those playmakers late, especially considering the way that they're sharing the ball and moving around right now. Like, they closed it out with Niko Jovic, who had an unbelievable game against Portland. But they closed it out with him being the primary ball handler. They've closed out other games with Jaime Jaquez Jr. The options right now are endless for this team offensively with record-setting quarters, like over and over and over again. It's been really impressive to watch thus far.
Did Spo start using Jovic differently, like immediately after Jokic was like, hey, this guy's good. You should use him differently? It was like a game later, and all of a sudden he has his best game?
And maybe there's
Interesting
some motivation
timing
there.
Interesting timing.
There's some motivation for Jovic going up against Jokic and then being able to respond to that, but the usage rate was simply because you don't have Bam Adebayo as your big man. So now all of a sudden he's got to be playing some of that role where he's playing small ball 5 at times. I mean, they've deployed Kashad
using him in the
Johnson for
post, just how Jokic suggested.
Well, that's been what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to get Jovic to use his body, to be physical. You hear it on the broadcast. You hear Crotty talk about it all the time. Spoelstra was after that unbelievable game. It was 29-9-6 for Jovic, and he's talking about the last play of the game where he could have iced it and took like a step back 3 and was like, why is he doing this James Harden thing? I told him, go post up, use your body, be physical. He would have been able to do it. That's the stuff they're trying to get him to do. They're trying to get Khalil Ware to grow. But thus far, the offense has been great, and it's interchangeable pieces, which is nice for this team that's been constantly dealing with injuries.
So the last 2 games, the Heat have scored 126 and 136. Obviously, no Tyler Hero. Also, no Bam Adebayo. And they're scoring 126 and 136. But tonight, Dan, they start a home and home. All right, but both games are at your home. They have a home and then another home against Cleveland tonight, Dan.
That's not a home and home.
I didn't understand.
I
the
just
home and
explained
another
it to you.
home. Yeah.
What did
Home
you?
and another
I don't
home.
understand.
What was hard to understand about that? I just explained it. It's a
communications
home
business.
and a home, but they're both at your home. Somebody was confused?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can't be a home and home if you're never going on the road to their home.
A home and a home, both games at your home.
Stop being
Somebody's
such a
confused?
Man. Stop being such a man. Just like say I screwed that one up. That one's off me, coach.
So stubborn.
I'll tell you what I will say. It's one thing you beat the Hornets. It's the worst team in professional sports. It's another thing you beat the Trailblazers. All right, they're fine. You got the Cavs tonight and Wednesday. Some people call it home and home at your home. Tonight, Dan, it's a show me game.
What?
Yep.
What?
Tonight's a show me
Wait
game.
a minute. You said against the Spurs they had a buy-in game. They
Yeah.
lost that
I
one.
know, I know.
What's the difference between a buy-in game and a show-me game?
Because a buy-in game early in the season, you don't really know if you should be buying into the team or not. And that's why it was a buy-in game. But now we're a couple weeks later, we're 10 games in. 10 games is a decent enough sample size. You know a little bit about your team. But like I said, you beat stupid teams like the Hornets, like the Clippers. Those teams aren't any good. Well, guess what? The Cavs and the Heat are undefeated at home. All right? That's a tough place to play, Kaseya Center. Tonight, you got the Cavaliers. If you beat a good team like Cleveland, you show me something. That's why tonight, show me game.
And that's without Bam and Tyler
Yep.
to have that show me game. But their next
Yep.
5 games, you got Cleveland, New York, and Golden State before taking on
New York home and
Chicago. That is an actual home and home. That's at New York on
yeah,
Friday and
home,
then home.
That's a home and home with the Knicks.
A real home
and home,
A
not the
real
home and
home
home that
that
happens
not
to be
the
both
fake
at
And
home.
then your home.
That's not a home and home.
Yeah, that's a home and home too.
That's not a home and home.
They're both home and homes.
No, you can't have a home and home.
Then everything's a home and home.
You cannot have a home and home when you never go to their home.
We have
No,
82.
you just have to specify. This right now against Cleveland's a home and home, both games at your home. Then against the Knicks, it's a home and home, their home, your home.
This is
I'm sorry, is this a record for home and homes in a season? Miami apparently has 41 of them.
All right, see now you're being stupid.
This is where we are with the stats on the Miami Heat. They're 13th in offensive rating, 5th in defensive rating, 7th in net rating, and all of that is very good in a weak East.
You know they have 2 players in the top 10 in individual net rating, and their names are Jaime Jaquez Jr. and Drew Smith.
I love that Jaquez. That's my dog.
He's been
Yeah.
pretty good in this offense. He's been unlocked by what they're doing.
It's a bad East, and they have the 3rd best net rating in the East. But I don't want to go another minute without talking about this 6-month-long first-round series that Inter Miami is playing. They do not have happened to them against Nashville what happened to them against Atlanta, where a team with great expectations and the best star in the world gets knocked out in the first round last year. They survive it this year, and they survive it in with big punctuation against Nashville, blowing them out.
Is the next series like 2 months?
It was really long. It's 3 weeks long.
Yes, but fear not. MLS playoffs make a ton of sense. Now they're all single elimination from here.
Shut up.
What? Are you serious?
No, Zaz, don't fall for this.
Yes.
He's messing with us.
No,
That's
it's
not true.
It's true.
No, I don't believe. I don't.
First
I don't believe
round of the MLS playoff. It's the best of 3 that
There's
takes
no
about
way
a month.
they go backwards. There's
takes
no
about
way.
a month.
I'm looking this up.
And now they're all single elimination from here.
Big liar.
I knew this would be an issue.
I don't believe you.
Yeah. Messi scored 5 goals in the 3 games. He absolutely owns Nashville. They hate seeing him. He beat them in the Leagues Cup 2 years ago. Believe it or not, this is the first time in franchise history Inter Miami have advanced past the first round.
He's right. He's not lying. This is stupid.
That's a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
They play a series to open the playoffs,
Single
and then
elimination
it's
from here.
single elimination.
That's right. See, the MLS is like, we get all these random results because it's soccer and single elimination in the first round. That's stupid. We want the random stuff later in the playoffs.
So you play a series to make sure the better team wins.
Mm-hmm.
You do that at the beginning, but then when you get to potentially the championship, let's just fly by the seat of our pants.
That's right. 1 game for your life against Cincinnati. Let's go.
Can you guys find out to me why we fly by the seat of our pants? Is that a Peter Pan reference? And also, the reason they have to do that is because if they made every series as long as the first round, it wouldn't be over for 7 years. You wouldn't be able to decide a champion in a calendar year.
Well, it went to Game 3, and you had Luis Suarez suspended for the final game of the home, and home.
Good.
What do you mean good?
I don't like him.
He was suspended for violent conduct. He kicked at a player that wasn't called on the
It's
field.
enough of this guy.
Well, this guy, is there a soccer player, punitively and empirically, is there a soccer player ever who gets into as much trouble as Luis Suarez beyond biting people? Like, you just said a violent act, but we talked about him. He didn't get suspended for spitting. Like, is there a soccer player ever that's gotten into as much trouble on the field as Luis Suarez?
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Flying by the seat of your pants originated in the early days of aviation when pilots had to use their senses and physical feel to navigate and control their aircraft because there were no sophisticated instruments.
So not Peter Pan?
Well, but the seat of the pants, you understand why I'm doing Peter Pan, right? You have to put somebody on wires in order to get them to fly, and then they're flying by the seat of their pants. What he's just described right there doesn't have the seat of the pants being used
I'm
for
sitting in
anything.
I'm driving the plane. I'm flying it. I'm sitting in this seat, and I'm just feeling it out. Where do I got to go here? I got to go a little tilted, a little left here.
I need some help with something that happened to me on the plane this weekend. So I was flying back home late Saturday night. I already told you that part. Government shutdown. Come on, figure it out. So I'm on my way home Saturday night. We're about to take off. All right, I'm sitting in first class. You know my style, Dan. And there's a woman sitting next to me. I don't know. She looks like she's maybe like 50, something like that. I don't know for sure. I didn't ask. And I don't know. It was. She seemed a little bit strange to me. It was one of those deals where like the pilot and the they don't call them stewardesses anymore. What,
flight attendants.
Flight attendants. They come on the plane.
You are stuck in a different time, dude. You really are.
They come on the plane and like she cheered. She cheered. Like, come on. All right, whatever. So
Did you feel obligated since you're next to her?
No. She cheered. No, but it wasn't Claire. It was cheering. Woo! All right. Anyway. We're getting ready to take off. I got my AirPods in.
She, too, was waiting 6 or 7 hours and was excited about the fact that now she could take off and the government hadn't shut down her flight.
How about just be normal? So I got my AirPods in. I'm listening to, I'm watching something on my iPad, right? And I got my phone next to me. Because, in first class, Dan, there's like a table.
That thick armrest.
Yeah, it's so good. So my phone is there. And the woman, she motions toward me. I got my AirPods and I can't hear. And she starts pointing at my phone. And I'm like, I'm looking confused. She then picks up her phone and she opens up the settings and she points at airplane mode.
Oh, wow.
Like, so I just, I shrug my shoulders at her. Because I don't believe in airplane mode.
I'm
I don't
with
know
you.
if you
I stand with you.
I never put my phone on airplane.
To prove a point.
That's right.
Prove the point. Hey, not important.
And so far, I'm right every time.
But what if it is just one time and you're the
Well,
reason
then it wouldn't be
everyone
that fault
dies,
because of how many
including
times he did it without airplane mode. That probably wouldn't be the reason.
That would seem to be a really weird coincidence.
What do you know about how satellite services work with airplanes?
I'm finding out. Literally every flight, I find out. So I just kind of shrug my shoulders,
She tattle.
But I'm like, who does that?
Somebody who's worried about their plane crashing?
Well, I didn't put it on.
If you see something, say something is a good way to live.
I would have just lived with a ball of anxiety the entire flight. I never would have said anything to you, but I would have been so frustrated if I saw that you weren't on airplane mode.
What?
What kind of team player are you? Selfish.
Airplane mode. She's telling me to put my phone in airplane mode. About 20 minutes later, I spilled my drink on her.
On purpose?
Not on purpose. But I spilled my drink all over her. I didn't feel bad, but it was not on purpose.
It would be wild if before every flight, they're like, all right, I can see here we have 6 people who are not on airplane mode. We don't move until I get this down.
I spilled my drink on her, ice cubes and all.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do you believe in airplane mode on your cell phone when flying?
There's no evidence.
I've also been told that you lit up ESPN this weekend, that it was a vibrant, radiant thing with your take on your love of Sicilian pizza.
Oh, yeah.
That you say that this is the greatest of all the pizzas.
Yeah.
A pizza that I would imagine you eat with a fork and knife?
Had to. Yeah, it was a little too messy. I'm about to go on the air. There's cameras and all that stuff. I can't be looking like I got vampire wings. I had to eat with a fork, and I couldn't be out there looking like Daniel Jones, all right? So I had to have the fork and the knife. But Sicilian pizza, oh my. Dan, you know about that Sicilian pizza?
Yeah, I love Sicilian pizza.
That's right. That's my pizza of choice. And Amber Wilson had never even heard of Sicilian pizza, and she's all critical of me. I told her, listen, when I walk into one of these pizza joints, and they got the window there, and it shows you all the pizzas that they have, if I see a Sicilian pie, I don't even look at the other pizzas that are there. I'm getting Sicilian.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Sicilian pizza the best of all the pizzas? You have to like something that's basically thick as a sandwich.
Yep.
You have to. I know most people I know prefer a thin slice. They do not. In fact, most people I know would say that the deep dish stuff in Chicago is not something that is their preference because they just want to be able to grab a thin slice of pizza that doesn't have that much bread, that much dough.
Well, also the Chicago deep dish, it's like pizza soup. Like there's so much tomato sauce. It's too much.
It's a tomato pie.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a tomato sauce pie.
Do you think that the audience is going to think that the Sicilian pizza is the best of the pizza? Because I believe that most people think that when they go to get a New York-style pizza, Sicilian is not their preference.
Sicilian is always my preference. I love it.
Let's go ahead and do funniest thing of the sports weekend here, please.
Hey, people, tell us what in the sport made you laugh hardest this weekend. It is a segment we call What Made You Laugh This Weekend. Ha ha ha!
I'm going to start. You just mentioned it, Zaz. Daniel Jones, bloody mouth. I mean, he kind of looked like the Joker.
He looks like Aunt Gladys from Weapons.
Kind of looked like Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire after he returns from the bathroom with the red lipstick.
They should have lost that game. They had 2 other fumbles that weren't recovered by Atlanta.
I'm in a Survivor League with 5 teams left. I had the Colts. Oh, yeah, let's go, baby. We're alive. We're still alive.
They deserve to lose that game. Jonathan Taylor is pretty important to them, and I believe the only team in the league that I end their playoff chances by taking the running back away instead of the quarterback. I understand that Daniel Jones has been very good for them this season. But I just saw, and in a game where they scored 31 points, by the way, or 30 points or whatever it was, they scored plenty in that game. But it's because Jonathan Taylor went crazy, 3 touchdowns, 200-something yards, when the Falcons were hell-bent on stopping Jonathan Taylor. Like those wide receivers for the Colts gave them nothing in that game. It was just Daniel Jones looking wherever he could for his tight end. All he wanted was Tyler Warren. That's the only thing he was looking for. What do you got, Roy?
Trump doing play-by-play during the Commanders game.
All right, let's hear some of this here, and let's compare it to Stugotz's play-by-play if you can get it. Which do you want to do first here, Chris? You want to do Trump first? Let's do what this is. By the way,
during Lions Commanders.
Not only that, Trump says he wants that stadium named after him, and it's probably going to be named
That's normal.
after him. I think it's going to be named after him. Can you do me a favor and look something up? I have not seen credible reporting on this, but because I have heard from so many people, I want to see who's reporting it credibly that the President of the United States is wearing a diaper and smells bad. Just get for me that information if you could, and let's hear this brilliant play-by-play. I'm sure it's very smart.
Let's see. We have a very important, I think this is a very important couple of plays.
Here we go. Second and 7.
Right, 2nd and 7. Let's see what happens. Whoa.
That's
all right.
Krosky Merritt.
Not bad.
Takes it down to the 5-yard line.
That's right. That's right. Good runner.
There we go.
I love the whoa.
There was
right when he's supposed to be explaining what's happening. Here we go. Whoa.
Anytime you're doing play-by-play and you say, let's see what happens, that's good stuff.
Let's just play that again so people can just hear just how generally empty it is.
Let's see. We have a very important, I think this is a very important couple of plays.
Here we go. Second and 7.
Right, 2nd and 7. Let's see what happens. Whoa.
That's
all right.
Krosky Merritt.
Not bad.
Takes it down to the 5-yard line.
That's right. That's right. Good runner.
All right,
There
so he offered no information and just repeated.
If my eyes were closed watching that, I have no idea what happened.
Whoa.
Well, it happens when you listen to the Dolphins broadcast anyway. I think that he's carving out like a new role, Trump. You heard him there, like he's confirming what Kenny Albert is saying. That's like a new role where you have a guy in the booth who lets you know that the things that the play-by-play guy is saying is correct.
That's right.
He said at the end of the interview that he wants that job. Also, Dan, no proof that Donald Trump wears a diaper and smells bad.
No proof whatsoever.
I don't see any articles that say so.
We can assume so, though.
Yeah, I think we can assume that.
I don't know where you got that one from.
Let's go ahead and play Stugotz's play-by-play comparatively.
So this is a pretty big at-bat, Stu.
Does that include the shot he took in the face when he was standing in the on base?
Stu, you got to stop talking when there's a hit.
Logan Morrison with a big base hit up the right side, and Martinez slides it at first and third, no out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Why did he slide to first?
There's 2 guys sliding into first, apparently.
Carpenter deals. Some chin music to Gabby Sanchez.
Chin music normally isn't swung at, and he
David,
swung at that, Stu.
I got news for you. I was getting chin music in no matter what today.
This is radio, Stu.
I was getting
Please
my
pay
chin
attention.
music in.
Stu, a lot better.
Mike, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Fran Brown. His act doesn't necessarily work when he's getting blown out and has one of the worst teams in college football. But fans have a memory from, a very quotable head coach. At one point, I was told that he told the interviewer that, Miami was ready to quit at a certain point. He and Mario Cristobal don't get along. They're battling it out right now presently for a 5-star recruit. But after the game, fans gave Fran Brown some of his own medicine, said, "You're not going to get washed tonight. Dirty ass." Fran Brown also shook Michael Irvin's hand and said, "Don't get used to this shit."
The Syracuse football coach famously does not shower after losses. There have been a lot of them this year.
He doesn't deserve soap.
Fran Brown, he's entertaining. Him and Mario were on the field yelling at each other during the game. Also, Miami, in terms of penalties this year, 134th of 136 teams.
They improved 5 spots. Moved up 5 spots. Discipline.
9 penalties a game for the University of Miami. Again, only. So you're telling me they're no longer 2 games?
I think we just had 5 on Saturday, so marked improvement.
Okay, so there were only 2 teams worse than them at getting penalties. Are you saying that they've climbed from 134th to better than that?
Cleaning it up.
Jeremy, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Justin Fields completed 6 passes. The Jets had 169 yards of total offense, and they beat the Browns.
So the stats in that game were crazy. First of all, they had 2 consecutive kicks returned for touchdowns. The Jets did. But the stats at the half on Justin Fields were so great because it was at the half 3 for 6 passing for 5 yards with 1 interception.
And they were leading.
It was tied. It was tied at the half, 17-17, after Justin Fields gave them a big 3 for 6 for 5 yards with 1 interception. Zaz, what was the funniest thing from the sports weekend?
Yeah, so I saw it happen in the Heat game, but overall, it's a funny thing that is happening in the NBA right now. So there was one at the end of one of the quarters on Saturday night with the Heat game. Nikola Jovic, he chucked it full court. There was no time left, why not? But that's the funny thing to me is this new rule in the NBA, all of the players now, they all chuck it at the end of the quarter because it doesn't count against your stats anymore. None of these guys, they all take the extra dribble in years past. Oh, I didn't get it off in time. And now everyone wants to shoot at the end of the quarter. I love it.
When did they change that rule?
This year.
I didn't know. So it doesn't count against your shooting percentage.
If it's at the end of the quarter.
What's the cutoff on that?
If it's the end of the quarter and the play originates in the backcourt and you shoot it behind.
Half court.
I think it's actually behind like the logo. You can go a little bit into the front court. Then it only counts if it goes in.
I thought one of you was going to select the way the Dolphin game started yesterday because I've never seen it happen. False start, timeout. There's no time taken off the clock. You've used a timeout. You got a penalty, and the game hasn't started yet. It's still at the 15-minute mark. It's not something I've seen before. But I'm going to go with. Did you guys see this? You guys know the Key and Peele sketch of 1 pump, 2 pump, the celebration in the end zone where the referee is getting real close to the groin of the celebrating player, waiting for the second sexual pump, and it comes, phrasing, the second pump ends up in a penalty. Not one. This has got to be 6 or 7 years old or longer. How old is this skit?
It's old.
2 guys did it yesterday out of nowhere. Rico Dowdle and Aaron Jones both did it out of nowhere yesterday, and they both lost the game.
No, it wasn't out of nowhere. It was a big talking point the previous week.
This guy was on
Diggs
vacation.
got away with 2 pumps, but Rico Dowdle got penalized for 2 pumps. Yeah, right. That was last week.
2 pump jump.
Then there were some fake pumps this week because it made news last week. That's right.
Okay, but it's still, all of it is a bit out of nowhere. That sketch is how
Dan,
old?
You're being a man right now.
How old is that sketch?
The episode premiered November 2nd, 2012.
Okay.
I saw Gene Steratore talking about it where his kids caught him up because he saw all the pumping stuff. He's like, I don't know about this. And his kids put him on the Key and Peele, big Key and Peele fan now.
All right, you know what? I retract it since I was malinformed, and I'm going to take another one. I'm going to take a different choice here. My choice is just the Jags.
Yeah. That's great.
So let me examine that game for a second because keep in mind how weird what I'm about to say is. During the witching hour of the 1 o'clock games, all of them, except one, were 1-score games during the witching hour. As soon as the witching hour started, all of the games except Jacksonville-Houston was a 1-score game. Jacksonville at Houston against Davis Mills. Jacksonville, this group of losers against Davis Mills, were up 29-10. They allowed 26 fourth-quarter points to the Texans, who are a bad offense, when it's not Davis Mills. I want you to look up for me. I'm going to guess that there's been one game this season where the Texans have scored more than 26 points in an entire game. There's one game that I remember against Baltimore. I'm going to guess that they haven't scored more. They might have a couple of games where they've scored close to 26, but I'm going to guess that if you look at the Texans game logs,
they've scored 26 twice, and they've scored above that once.
They scored the 44 points against Baltimore, like you mentioned, and then in their other 2 wins outside of this one, they scored 26 exactly.
So in the fourth quarter, they scored 26 points, and in all the previous games, when given all 4 of the quarters, they've not scored more than 26 points. It's not just that, though. It's that Jacksonville in the fourth quarter had 2 yards. They're trying to win the game. They're trying to advance to 6-3, the same record that the Bills would have as their window closes. They could have been 6-3. They're playing They're playing Davis Mills. They've got the game won at 29-10. And I want to. Do you guys know? Does anyone here? Roy's going to know what this is. Are you old enough to know, Zaslow, what the Nestea plunge is? Do you know what the Nestea plunge is?
No.
Does anyone here? This is you know what Nestea is, right? Is it still in business?
Yeah, it's like the chocolate stuff, right?
I don't think it's chocolate.
No.
I think it's just tea.
That's Nesquik.
Yeah.
That's Nesquik.
And Nestle, like ice cream,
yeah,
right?
that's totally different.
Well, what the hell are you talking about?
Nestea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tea.
Let's give video a second to find.
But Nestle Quick is so good.
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about.
But I'm with Zaz.
Maybe
That's
we
just
should.
if we're just comparing the
It's
products.
also not
I'm with
Nestle
Zaz.
Quick.
Yeah.
It's Nesquik.
Whatever. It's good. Let's talk about that some more.
Yeah.
Zaslow got everything wrong there and didn't know what the Nestea plunge is either, even though he's of an age that he should know. And I'm sure the woman who was sitting next to him who got ice cubes spilled on her was also thinking how old you were when she was looking at you.
Do you promise we can go back and talk about Nestle Quick, though, when you get done with this?
I mean, anything Nestle related is going to be chocolate related, so it's going to be delicious. This is not at all chocolate related.
When you're making strawberry or chocolate milk, do you prefer the syrup or the powder?
Oh, the powder. No, the powder feels like more authentic.
What?
No, but
I love the powder.
weirdest
man.
thing you've ever said.
if you use the syrup, you get that one little clump of syrup at the bottom.
dude.
Yeah.
and it's just
Yes.
like,
Fist
oh,
yes.
right there.
Yes. Yeah. There you
That's
go.
one of
I like the
life's
powder.
simple joys.
I like to go around the like wipe off all the chocolate from the side, make sure there's no chocolate.
I'm like, I never know if I've mixed up the syrup enough, and I feel like it's all at the bottom, and I never know. And it
Kinda
bothers
gooky.
me. Yeah.
The Nestea plunge, okay, is basically, and I don't know why. I'm gonna assume that Nestea was saying their tea is so delicious that you just want to fall back and swim in their delicious tea. But it involves turning your back around and sort of falling into a pool. Let's play an old commercial here so that people can see what it is that I'm talking about here.
I'm huffing and I'm puffing, getting dry as I can be. Got a thirst that's got me aching.
Come on, taste the taste of wetness. Take the Nestea plunge. Soak your thirst with Nestea instant tea.
Nestea, it's the best wet yet.
So taste the taste of wetness. Take the Nestea plunge.
Try Nestea and see why people choose Nestea more often. It's America's biggest seller.
Wetness.
Taste the taste of wetness.
I'm in.
Why would those women do that, though?
The reason that I'm bringing all of this up is because the way that Jacksonville got up to that 19-point lead is that their slot receiver and punt returner, Parker Washington, ends up breaking a punt return. And when he gets to the 1-yard line, he turns around and falls into the end zone on his back the way that you would Nestea plunge. And about 40 yards from the end zone, the punter's got an angle. And Parker Washington sees that he's got an angle, but is not scared in any.
I saw that.
He's not scared. He's not scared in
There's
any
like a
way.
brief moment of, oh, do I need to? No, I don't.
I don't need to speed up at all. I know
That punter's like, oh, I'm on this. I'm on this, guys. It was so good.
It is. And then they lost. And then they had 2 fourth-quarter yards. And then they allowed this. Listen, this is. I do enjoy laughing at the Jags, but here's what happened to the Jags at the end of the game, because it was great to watch because Jacksonville knows how to lose these kinds of games, okay? As I said, Jacksonville had 2 fourth-quarter yards. They're now down by a point with 31 seconds left. They get a decent return, but they don't need much of a return because their kicker, Little, all you got to do is get to like your own 40-yard line to have a chance for this guy to try a 70-yard field goal. They come out with 2 fourth-quarter yards, and Trevor Lawrence ends up running for like 19 yards. They're now in field goal range.
They were close, yeah.
They're in field goal range. They're not close. They're in field. Their kicker has made the longest kick ever. They're in field goal range. They can try it from here, and then, of course, he gets sacked. And then on the next play, he just lobs the ball up, and it's a pick six, and Houston ends up with 26 fourth-quarter points. When that is a dreadful offense, there's no circumstance under which you can allow Davis Mills and a truly terrible Texans offense to just break your season over their knee that way.
Liam Cohen's reaction was so good. He throws his pad with the plays and throws off his headset and the equipment. He
Looks
was
like
so
a guy
mad.
who wants a new quarterback next year.
What happened in that fourth quarter, I dare say, the only thing more surprising than that was the end of the Broncos-Giants game this entire season. And I'd have to say that this is I'd have to put this in that conversation.
Don't forget Titans-Cardinals. That one was an all-time.
Oh yeah, Titans-Cardinals was a pretty good one. I did forget about that one.
Do you think Brian Dable gets fired during the show? I think so.
You think he's going to get fired today?
I mean, there was that report that Mira had to get talked out of firing him in Denver. They are 0-4 in games that they've led by more than 10 points on the road. Also, another great stat, Jackson Dart has been evaluated for 4 concussions this season.
Jackson Dart scores a lot of touchdowns, and the moment that he left that game yesterday, you could see everything leak out of the Giants. Russell Wilson, I told you guys when he signed there that I found that signing to be sad for Russell Wilson. I think Stugotz and Zaz have both said that Russell Wilson is playing his way out of the Hall of Fame.
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that final drive with Russell Wilson? Like, he didn't know what he was doing out there.
How good is this job, though, when it opens up? You want that job now all of a sudden.
Well, they still have skill position problems.
Neighbors?
Because they're hurt. I mean,
Dude,
their
yeah,
skill
they
guys
got
are
neighbors.
hurt.
Next year,
We'll see if Scadaboo comes back, but they have neighbors. They have an answer at quarterback. They probably have the best pass rush in the division. Not probably.
And they're going to have a super high pick in the draft.
One of the best D-lines in the league.
Yeah, that's a good job. Zaz, good job or not a good job?
You guys are assuming
That's a good job.
You guys are assuming that Scadaboo and Neighbors are going to both be back and totally fine and the same as they were when the margins in that sport are this.
Dan, if they don't play football ever again, it's a good job because they have a quarterback.
They have a young quarterback.
I'm not sure Scadaboo's not coming back this year.
Yeah, try and stop him.
This week. Something that happened in that game, and I still am not used to this. You guys are now used to this, right? What I'm about to say from that game that was a stat. In the first half, the Giants and the Bears went for it on fourth down 5 times. 5 years ago, a team wouldn't go for it on fourth down except at the end of a game, an entire season 5 times.
In a snow game.
5 times in the first half, Zaz, and the Bears is now a good job too, right?
Bears are good. Bears are good. Caleb Williams is good. I mean, you could say it's a good job, but they have a coach.
Yeah, they just got a coach.
No, but I'm just saying that when you say young quarterbacks, that makes everything a good job. You can, in fact, say, how about this? I'm going to throw this at you. You guys are going to be stunned by it. Not only do the Bears have a quarterback, the Bears have the best quarterback in their history, like in our lifetime. This is the best quarterback. It's just Jay Cutler is all you have. It's all you have to choose from is Jay Cutler. Yeah, I think he's going to be better. I think he's going to have a better career if he doesn't get hurt than Jay Cutler has. What are we talking about? Sid Luckman?
Jim McMahon?
Jim McMahon wasn't very good. He wasn't very good statistically.
He was very cool.
He won a Super Bowl, but he wasn't.
Sunglasses.
Go ahead and look up. Go ahead and find
Sunglasses.
Find for me. Go ahead and look at Jim McMahon's finest season. I think we will all laugh at. Let's just look at his stats that Super Bowl season, if you'd like.
Is there a present day comp of like a quarterback that's not that good but cool, like Jim McMahon? Like who's the current quarterback that we would call that?
People like Gardner Minshew.
That's how he's Gardner Minshew?
That's not cool. You can't be wearing
Gardner
too tight.
Minshew is considered, I think, cool.
You can't be wearing too tight, short jean shorts.
McMahon was that
cool.
bad, though?
I think Gardner Minshew is like quite literally twice the quarterback Jim McMahon was.
Yeah, I think you'd be surprised. You look at the numbers like, wow, Gardner Minshew's a lot better than Jim McMahon.
Oh, man. 2,392 yards, 15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
That was the Super Bowl year?
That was 85?
That was 85.
That's like Tua's stats so far this year.
Pro Bowler.
Well,
Tua's at 15 and 11.
He just gave you 15 and 11. Look,
And that was
quiet,
13 games, by the way.
quiet as it is kept, because I don't believe a lot of people are talking about this today as we assess the entire league, and everyone in the league is kind of broken because McDermott's yelling at Bosa, wrap him up, and Bosa's like a torso out there with a cast on his arm. In his last 6 games, Matthew Stafford, quietly, because it has been quiet, Matthew Stafford, 20 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. So in his last 6 games, look at how much the game has changed, that in his last 6 games, Matthew Stafford is 20 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and Jim McMahon in his Super Bowl year was 15 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. That's crazy. Stafford, everyone's got to be afraid of him, right? Everyone, he has mastered the position, correctly? Like, I've got this correct when I say that is just simple mastery of the position.
First player in NFL history with 4+ passing touchdowns and 0 picks in 3 straight games. He's also the 6th player all-time with 4+ touchdown passes in 3 straight games in a single season.
I saw such a great example yesterday after the Rams won that game. Such a great example to show or to remind you how awful those Lions teams were that he was on. With Matthew Stafford's win yesterday, he now has a career 500 record.
That's wild. You know who the favorite in the NFC is? It's the Rams, according to DraftKings Sportsbook. They have the second best prices on DraftKings Sportsbook to win the Super Bowl, behind only the Chiefs.
I mean, they're very good. No one would dispute that. In a league where, look, I know Denver's got 2 losses. I know Colts got 2 losses. And all of you would say the Chiefs would be favored. Any field you want to put them on, I'm going to favor the Chiefs to win that game. But you wouldn't do it with the Rams. You wouldn't necessarily do it with the Rams. It's not something that when I think of good teams in that league, I think of very few who get to be good quietly. And they're a different kind of good as the Patriots, because I don't believe the people listening to this believe that the Patriots can just run through the postseason. No matter how good Drake May's been on the deep passes, no matter how well they're coached, no matter how disciplined there are.
You got to see it.
But it's just, I don't believe that people will believe that the quarterbacks in the AFC can knock off Mahomes. Like, it's just not something that anyone listening to this is going to believe. But if I put Stafford in that game and I put it anywhere, I could put that on any field, all of a sudden you've got a mastery at that position that is unlike any other mastery, I would say. I don't believe, even though Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen are singular MVP talents, I don't believe they've actually mastered the position the way Stafford has, where Stafford could still dominate the game, and he's not even one of these mobile guys. You kind of need to be mobile these days in order to get it done most effectively at that position. He's the only one doing it with straight drop back, because Drake May is a hell of an athlete. Like that guy's running all over the place. He's not viewed like Josh Allen. My guess is, can you look this up for me? Drake May's rushing stats versus Josh Allen's rushing stats just this year. Would you be kind enough to just look that up for me? Because I don't believe people are assigning the mobility to Drake May that he actually has, and he's not getting the credit for running around the way. He had like 90-something rushing yards in a game against Tennessee last year.
Let me ask you something about that draft class last year. Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. If you had to pick right now which quarterbacks you would want from there, Jaden Daniels is first, second, or third?
Well, he's just, when he's coming off of injury this way, is it fair to even make an assessment? Like what we've seen from C.J. Stroud in terms of regression is something you were beginning to feel with Jaden Daniels this year. Jaden Daniels at LSU averaged 10 yards a play. That's what he was averaging at LSU, and he made it look awfully easy his first year. But I'm thinking that most people listening to this would take Drake May, would they not? Would they not take Drake May just because of what he's doing with the deep pass and with skill guys that we don't believe to be as good as Washington's skill guys or Chicago's skill guys? Because that's a lot of help that in those 2 huddles. I don't believe we regard the Patriots' skill guys that way.
To your point on rushing, Drake May has 283 rushing yards this year to Josh Allen's 311. The difference is the touchdowns. Josh Allen has 7 rushing touchdowns to Drake May's 2, but that's in part because he's completing so many passes deep down the field to those weapons. And as we pointed out earlier against the Dolphins, that was the big issue for the Bills, is their skill guys can't get open down the field. It's a really good job by the Patriots of not necessarily acquiring splashy names outside of Stephon Diggs, but guys who can burn down the field because they knew what Drake May's strengths were.
I should make a correction, by the way, on what it is that I said earlier about the Bills game, because that Bills-Dolphins game was lost because the Bills could not stop the run and cannot stop the run. I put too much of that on Josh Allen just because I'm expecting Josh Allen to score more. He was fine yesterday. Like, he was that stat line is totally fine. They moved the ball. They just didn't score. I'm not used to the Bills not scoring. I did want to ask you, though, Zaz, because you're covering college football so intensely over the weekend. Is a Cuban going to win the Heisman Trophy? Because I have not seen a Heisman moment until the end of Indiana-Penn State. Now, I know that Indiana has been running roughshod over everybody. They've been winning big. Fernando Mendoza, I can't get used to saying that name as a quarterback's name, and seeing it in Indiana is super strange. But if I told anyone listening to this, never mind James Franklin, never mind Signetti, if I simply told anybody listening to this, hey, Indiana and Penn State are playing a football game at any time in your lifetime, who's got the better athletes? Penn State should not be a 14.5-point dog in that game unless you've been watching Indiana all season. And so playing against Penn State, at Penn State, being a 2-touchdown favorite is something that Indiana has not been capable of the entirety of my lifetime. But the first Heisman moment I've seen this season was at the end of that football game.
So going into this weekend's games, Julian Sayin was the favorite to win the Heisman, which I thought was kind of strange because, I mean, he's a really good player, but Ohio State, they kill everyone. They don't play anyone, and they kill everyone, and so Julian Sayin doesn't have any real moments. I mean, heck, the one close game, which you could say maybe is Ohio State's only good win, which we didn't really realize at the time because Texas didn't look so great, was that first game against Texas. It's not like Julian Sayin had a big moment. They were up 14-0 in that game, and the defense made stops. It's important that you pointed out the end of the game this weekend with Indiana because, yes, that feels like a Heisman moment because not that Indiana's playoff hopes would have been dashed. They likely still would be totally fine as far as a playoff spot, but certainly their chances to win the Big Ten and definitely their chance to get a bye in the first round of the playoff was absolutely on the line in that game. And to do it on the road when Indiana hadn't won in Penn State like ever, or it was like 1,000 years.
And they asked Signetti about it. He's like, this team's never played here.
Right. So they never win there. And unbelievable play at the end of the game. Yes, it felt like a Heisman moment. So he's back now to being the favorite at plus 160, barely over Julian Sayin at plus 185. I feel like he should be winning the Heisman. I feel like the odds should be a little bit more in his favor.
A Cuban from Columbus High School.
Was he a big deal when he was in? Because yes, he's from Columbus.
He wasn't. I
don't remember his name being thrown around here.
He wasn't a big time prospect. Went to Cal, earned the starting job over there. Went into the portal this year. Plenty of big programs had an opportunity to bring Mendoza in and decided to go elsewhere. And he goes to Indiana. His brother is his backup over there. And every week, the kid just gets better and better and better.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Can you believe you've lived long enough to see the Heisman won by someone named Fernando? Because I can't get used to that. Gus Johnson at the end of the game, he knew the game he was calling. And what Zaz is saying is significant, right? Because it's not just that you're protecting an undefeated season. You're protecting an undefeated season when you've gone on the road and that team has all the momentum at the end of that game. That is exactly the spot where a team that hasn't been there before caves because all of it is too much. Here's Gus Johnson calling the end of that game.
It's trouble! It's out! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
I have no idea what happened there. I have no idea based on just the audio. Oh, what are you shaking your head? You're sour on Gus Johnson? What are you doing? What are you doing?
You know what I'm doing. You can see what I'm doing.
You don't like Gus Johnson?
No. I mean, that right there is just yelling, number one. And
that's what we were all doing.
Okay, but like I'm not on the play-by-play, you know? And I just feel like a big pass in the first quarter sounds the exact same as that you heard.
That's not true.
That is true.
That is kind of true.
That's not how. I've never heard a first quarter that sounds like that.
It's not for me. It's not for me.
Mendoza ate some shots in that game, too. He was just being tough and gritty, and that was a hell of a catch. But they go into every game. There's a talent mismatch every time. Like, there's probably 2 guys on that team on offense that get drafted.
My favorite moment from Gus over the weekend was when he was saying who was officiating the Indiana-Penn State game.
Chris Cody is your referee today.
Wow.
Chris Cody is your referee today.
Did a good job in that one.
Thank you.
The apple doesn't fall far from the narcissist tree.
Is your referee today.
Dan says goodbye, sweet Clevelander.
I should tell the audience that we've got a bit of an emotional week, I would say, here this week as we are leaving this studio. It's been an eventful 2 years where the show has struggled and groaned under the weight of trying to build a business. And we're going to move into new studios. Everything is moving after, I think it's close to 10 years here. And we're going to remember some of the things from the Clevelander because as expensive as the property value has gotten around here, the neighborhood has really deteriorated. There has been...
so is my health.
There's been a lot of
But that's your fault.
shootings here recently and assassinations, plural. And we need to get out of here. And next
And that
week...
move is brought to you by Miller Lite. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Next week is going to be a little bit difficult because we're going to be in the change, and these are not your problems, they are our problems, but we ask for yet more patience after 2 years of trying to build this thing. We're excited about getting into new studios, and we will remember the Clevelander throughout the rest of the week here because one of the great memories I have, Stugotz, it really is one of my favorites as I've gotten late in life and have learned to appreciate some of this nonsense that we get to do every day, is the weekend before we were going to go on ESPN radio and start with whatever it is we were doing with them. They were going to make this studio look like all the other studios, which is just blue paneling behind us that would be nondescript. And my brother and I spent the entire weekend here putting all of this stuff up. And the reason that it's one of my favorite memories is because I remember the screaming phone calls on Monday when no one had been informed that that's what we would look like. And they didn't want us to look like that. Or no one had given them a heads up, I should say. It's not that they didn't want us to look like that. It's that they were going for homogenized at the beginning, and we put up all these tiles that we're at some point here going to just auction off because they've been here for 10 years representing us as we make a move to become a bigger business. We've got, Mike, do you know how many employees we have now? I don't know how many employees we have now.
I walked into to today's pre-production meeting, and I was a little stunned at how many people were in that room, considering it's just jarring seeing how we've started. And there was a lot of people here when we were doing HQ. It was even tighter back then in many respects because we had the equipment. But I think the stark contrast is from the pandemic days when ESPN would only allow you and me in these studios and people were zooming in. So maybe I'll have fonder memories when we get out of here, and I'll look back on some of the stuff that we did here and created here fondly, but I cannot wait to get out of this godforsaken building, thanks to Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Just 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Winner
of 3 World Beer Cups. They don't just give those things away.
You have said that this place is haunted. You have come in hot from L.A. talking way too much about sponsorships and deals. We are moving. This is a growing business, and part that you left out was the answer to my question. How many employees do we have?
I don't know.
A lot.
Yeah, I don't know. Because there's a difference between full-time employees and part-time employees, but in terms of like people that are here, It seems like 87.
It's not here, but it's not just here. But it's a lot of people. It's much more than what's on air as we try to get up a video.
You would think the show would be a lot better.
You really would.
But it's only gotten worse.
Well, the solution to everything is hire more people, and then all it happens is more problems.
Well,
is what I've noticed.
Again, the deterioration of everybody's health.
Yes, that's part of what's
hanging over
happening.
this show.
So, do you have a top 5 nostalgic, syrupy memories instead of hauntings? Let's do some top 5 lists to celebrate our time here. 8 to 10 years, so Stugotz can be nostalgic, so that Roy can be nostalgic.
It's been 8 to 10 years for everybody else. It's been 20 to 30 for Stu.
Yeah, it has. It
all
really
in
has.
space, by the way.
Yep.
Billy can get emotional here. Teach the young ones.
I don't want to leave. I revealed
so
that
not
today
true.
in the garage.
Billy said that to me. Yeah, I was having a heater in the garage.
He was talking to Cougs upstairs in the garage. I was walking down.
Who's Cougs?
Cougs.
Oh, you know.
Do you know what? Do you not want to? I am more worried about them finding a body underneath your desk than I am in Mel Reese.
I have a plastic container. I have to take all this stuff today, I was told. So
That's why you don't want to leave, because you got to clean up.
I like it here. I mean, downtown floods. I don't know if we're supposed to say we're going to downtown, but it floods there, and anytime it rains, I'm gonna have to get a boat or a kayak to get from my car.
Is it Judd Apatow sock puppet still over there?
No, I think one of the dancers took that.
To be clear, we have a day and a time of great hope, and you're already fearing change. You're
It's
already
not fear, as I'm comfortable here. This place is fine to me.
Billy's Fear is brought to you by Miller Lite. Just 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
I'm gonna see the new studio today. Maybe that'll change things.
You don't want to move? You don't want to move?
I mean, I don't think I get a vote on this. I think it's happening whether I want to or not.
Yeah, we're a little further along. But I am excited for everybody to experience the new building. I've gone over there a couple of times, and I was honestly moved to tears the first time, just because there's so much space. So much space to do this. I was, because it feels like.
Were you wearing a hard hat?
No. We're beyond that, but not to get too into it. And I'm sure there's plenty of time for nostalgia and stuff like that. But we've been through a lot, man. It's been hard. We've been through a couple of different companies and a bunch of different incarnations of the show. I've had really good memories here, and I've had some professional lows that I would just like to remove myself from. I feel like all those emotions every time I come into this building, which is good and bad, and I'm just really excited for a new mile marker for the company. It feels like actual growth, because we're going to do this in a much nicer place, and I'm excited for that.
All that space in the new building, also sponsored by Miller Lite.
Killing it.
We will get to the top 5. Good contribution so far, Greg.
Did you slur?
Why did he slur this?
I mean, when he starts to drinking.
Miller Lite, yeah.
The guy's bleeding. Leave him alone. I mean,
he is bleeding.
Blood coming out of his wound.
But Billy thinks he looks
look
great.
though.
It
Yeah,
looks like
exactly.
he's had work done.
Thank you, Billy.
I don't think Billy was being sarcastic.
I wasn't. I mean.
Guys, we got Bills Bucks this coming football weekend. That game will make you taste the taste of wetness. I want tickets to that one. But I don't want to be guessing where to buy tickets and where my seats are going to be. I want to take all the guesswork out of buying tickets. That's why I download the Game Time app. Yeah, the Game Time app. You heard me. I create an account and I use code Dan, and I get $20 off my first purchase. You can too. Use that promo code DAN. Terms apply. Swipe, tap, ticket, go.
Come on, taste the taste of wetness.
It's a strange marketing campaign. I don't believe that people are aspiring to taste the taste of wetness. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are you aspiring to taste the taste of wetness? I was in Los Angeles most of last week, and so I didn't actually get to talk about that World Series as much as I would have liked to. So I just want to ask you guys 2 questions based on that epic, historic World Series. One, did you guys know that as Clayton Kershaw warmed up in the bullpen and the game was decided, he didn't know as it ended that it was over? He thought he was coming in to pitch because he did not know that they were ahead. He did not know that the World Series was over. Clayton Kershaw descended into full-blown senility by the end of his career. It's not just that he was bad at pitching. He didn't. You're surprised by this. You had not heard this?
Yeah, why would anyone not be surprised hearing that?
I was also surprised. He just didn't. It didn't register for him that they had won the World Series. But the other question I wanted to ask you guys, because we mentioned last week that series just in extra innings had more memorable moments than your average World Series. The thing I wanted to ask you guys is how haunting, and I want you guys to think about this for a second, how haunting do you believe all of that will be going into the future for Alejandro Kirk? The fact that you're coming up in that situation, first and third, it's the situation every kid dreams about at the beginning of sports. I get to come up in Game 7 at home. Canada wants to win something meaningful when Canada doesn't win anything meaningful ever. You're knocking off the giant. You have in front of you, first and third, 1 out. But you're shaped like no baseball player today is shaped. You're not much of a runner, and you ground into a double play on a broken bat, hitting the ball in the one spot that you can't hit it, where they're going to turn a quick double play. And you go from all of your dreams to this is going to haunt you for a while. I imagine that this is the kind of thing that makes you not sleep for many nights if you care about sports, care about. I think that guy's great. That guy's great. He's great. He was great in the postseason, but the season, all of it dies. Vladimir Guerrero's on base. They've gotten the game to the part of the lineup that the Blue Jays trust the most, and then at the end of the game, I imagine that he has trouble that he's still not sleeping correctly because of how all of that ended for him.
We have examples of pitchers who never really recover from that moment. Are there examples of good hitters who never recover from that moment?
I'm trying to remember a moment like that for a hitter, right? There's a Mets at bat of some sort. I think it was Beltran who just took a third strike to end the season. And you can't take a third strike to end the season.
Against the Cardinals.
You have to swing the bat. But off the top of my head, I cannot remember quite that kind of haunting where you go from, you're going into that batter's box thinking, this is all my dreams come true. I'm getting the opportunity that everybody wants for my country, for my team, for my teammates. I've got the ability to slay the giant here at home and end the most epic World Series, maybe since Joe Carter did it 30 years ago for Toronto by hitting a walk-off home run. But that was a Game 6. That's not Game 7, end of the game, runners on first and third. All you need is a fly ball to tie the game. But instead, you become something that's an eternal, horrific at-bat where people will not forget that you failed in the spot that all the kids dream about.
The shame of it for Kirk is he had been so special through the entire postseason and even in the World Series. Remember, he's the guy who gave them the lead in Game 3 with a home run and was so effective offensively for them, taken out in the 12th inning of that 18-inning marathon, so not given the opportunity to turn out to be the hero in that game that could have given them a 3-0 series lead. Instead, he comes up in this spot after catching a grueling season nearly every single game and being one of the best defensive catchers in baseball, hitting the crap out of the ball all postseason long, and then hits it right into the spot where Mookie Betts can make that play.
You can't hit it.
It's going to keep him up forever. And you wonder if it almost impacts his swing path moving forward. Like, I never want to hit the ball on the ground for the rest of my life.
I really do think it's an uncommon kind of haunting because I just, off the top of my head, I can't remember a situation like that where you go from all your dreams come true to your season is over in an instant and you've disappointed not just your teammates, your country at the end of that series. When the thing about this, I don't know how the rest of you deal with disappointment, but one of the ways to deal with disappointment is to place your expectations in a reasonable place. When he's entering that batter's box, his expectations are through the roof on what it is can be accomplished there. And the one thing that you can't do is the thing that he did. It's the only thing. You could strike out on 3 pitches, and it's not that.
Again, that's the shame, right? Because I would think his fan base will be forgiving of that moment, considering what it is that he did to get them there, and the fact that Yamamoto came in and mowed down everybody.
Well, and there were
over
also
multiple
so
innings.
many other chances.
Yes.
That game.
Right.
That they should have won.
Right. That's the thing. He's not the only one who came up short. He's just the one who ended it. It's Bieber who gives up the home run in the previous at bat. It's like
or how
Miguel
about the base
Rojas,
runner on the force out at home? Like, I would put him in front.
No, that the punctuation is where it is that you go from all of your dreams to the worst nightmares. Something I had happen to me during football. This continues to happen to me in a way that's surprising. It is legitimately surprising what washes over me. I'm listening really briefly to Carolina Saints yesterday. Whoa. Carolina's in the mix now. Their season was over every time they won, but now they're back in the mix.
I don't
lose that one.
I don't understand your approach to the Carolina Panthers. You wrote them off after a win, but now after a bad home loss to the Saints, they're in the mix?
In the mix, yes. Well, now I'm trying to be at this trough where everyone is eating, trying actively to be provocative for the sake of provocation. But the thing that swept over me, that keeps sweeping over me, is I feel bad for Chris Myers. Because he's the one who has to broadcast that game. And I'm like, he's done too many of these. He needs to be promoted to something that's not this game. That him having to be forced to watch that game, he's been doing too many years of that game as a local product here in South Florida, went to Chaminade High School. He deserves, put it on the poll at Le Batard Show, Juju. Does Chris Myers, after all these years, deserve to be promoted from that hell that is Carolina Saints?
Is Chris Myers NFC Spiro Ditas?
He always gets stuck with that game. That one.
Spiro got stuck with Browns Jets.
Woo!
Hey, what are we doing? He deserved to be in Houston for Jags.
I feel like
Texans.
they're trolling us.
Yes.
Since we had him on, he's not getting any of his
He
games.
hasn't had a single AFC South assignment since he revealed he's in a group chat that says AFC South boys.
Boy, that chat must be dormant.
That Jets game, I did not know. Have you guys seen Will McDonald IV has the Roman numeral 4 on the back of a jersey? I've never seen it before. Have you guys seen the Roman numeral 4?
Yeah, for the Texans, Will Fuller.
Oh, yeah. Did that guy steal money from the Dolphins?
He did. One season of...
My bad. For a second there, I was like, his jersey number is a Roman? That's wild. I get it now in the name. Yeah, that's more common.
Did he have 4 sacks yesterday? Did Will McDonald have 4 sacks in that Browns-Jets game? Did you guys watch any of that? Because I'm going to give the stat again.
When it was on Red Zone.
I mean, they had 2. The Jets had 2 consecutive kicks returned for touchdowns. That's as good as the Jets have felt in how many years? Those 2 kick returns for touchdowns. Justin Fields going 3 for 6 for 5 yards with an interception, and watching everything that was happening in that game. The total in that game was lower than all the other totals yesterday, and they went over it fairly quickly because they got the Jets actually, quiet as it's kept, you'd have no reason to know this, their special teams have been very good this year. It's the only thing about the Jets that have been any good. But nobody thinks that the Browns of Dylan Gabriel's not the answer there, correct? Like we're aware that that's not a solution to anybody's problems.
I don't know if they're aware.
We're still tracking towards a means plan. If you remember, they go to Dylan early, and then they're going to eventually get to Shador by a means plan.
Yeah, I mean, I would have thought that is the plan, but it seems like they hate Shador Sanders.
And it seems like he's not ready. But when you guys are watching any portion of Browns Jets, are you made sad by what it is you're doing with your life?
I am so happy that I'm not doing that with my life anymore. Honestly, I've come out of on the other side like so happy.
You're Tim Robbins. You're Andy Dufresne from Shawshank Redemption.
I can't believe this isn't my life anymore. Do you understand? Like that was my life for 20 years.
So
that game.
It doesn't like. You don't miss it at all?
No, I certainly don't miss that either. There weren't really any good times.
I thought you're a Bucks guy now. You're not stressing that loss yesterday?
I am stressing a little bit. I mean, they're still so hurt. How do you come out of a bye week more injured?
But do you, will games be going on, and I understand that you got Red Zone on, whatever. You don't take out your phone and follow what your former favorite team is doing?
No, first year I was keeping an eye on it a little bit more, and the Deshaun thing was a national storyline, so you had to follow it. Now it's just like they barely exist.
Wow. Good for you. Clean break.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. Now, if they drafted Cam Ward, I would have been back in. And what if they had that was their one opportunity. Wow. But thank God. So now I'm watching great Titans football, mind you.
I'm curious as I say this question what the answer is, because it's not something I've considered before. How many more bad teams are there in the league that you know are bad than teams you know are good? Teams that you trust to be good going forward. Who is at the moment are the Chiefs the betting favorite? Who's the
we talked about
and
this.
then the Rams.
Yeah, it's Chiefs and then Rams, and then Steve Martin.
Do we know the Ravens are good?
Well, their schedule, the next 3 games are going to make it so they are good. Look at their
4 and
schedule.
5.
Ravens are back, Jack.
Look at what their schedule is the next 3 games, because that was the tough one. Yesterday was the tough one in Minnesota. I think they've got Cincinnati, Cleveland, and the Jets next. I think those are their next 3 games.
I'm starting to get a little pissed off at how much J.J. McCarthy is confusing me.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd believe in J.J. McCarthy. He's started 4 games.
Because he's had 2 electric quarters where I'm like, I see it. I see it.
What do you see?
I see it.
No, this is the thing about that league that, look, Davis Mills has 6 wins in his career. 3 of them are against the Jags. The Jags think Davis Mills is Patrick Mahomes. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Do the Jags think that Davis Mills is Patrick Mahomes?
Is that why Tony was so in on Davis Mills? He just watches so much Jaguar football that he thinks Davis Mills is Dan Marino?
Tony's in on every quarterback.
Yeah, but that one specifically.
No, because Colt McCoy will always give you that game once in a while. Like, we could do this. What's the commercial for backups? Is it Progressive? I've thought Trubisky's in these commercials.
Taste the taste of wetness.
Bridgewater is in these commercials. I've thought that their agents, that they should have more dignity than this, that Trubisky and Bridgewater shouldn't take that money to be backup orderers because someone screws up a fast food order.
I want to see the email back and forth between the quarterback and his agent, because it gets pitched. He goes, I'm not doing that. I don't want to be a backup. And then they get the number. And he's like, all right, I'll do it.
I think Gardner Minshew turned that down. And should have taken it. Like, he's the personality type who should take it. I also enjoy from those commercials, and they've been doing this since Brian Arakpo was doing it.
Saying their name.
They have to name their name because otherwise you wouldn't know it was Trubisky or you wouldn't know it was
Mitch Trubisky, get over here.
Hey, Case Keenum.
I mean, they did the same thing with Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Despite having started 1-5, the Ravens are a massive favorite to win the AFC North.
Did I have their schedule right over the next 3 games where they're going to have a 5-game winning
Browns,
streak?
Jets, Bengals.
Steelers also piss me off. I don't like watching them.
It's a weird team. They're not good.
When did Aaron Rodgers become a huge scaredy cat? Guy hates contact.
He's old.
He's just flinching and running away and throwing balls in the dirt. The guy hates getting hit. And he's extra pissy this year. I don't like him.
Did he just quietly stop doing McAfee? Because you say he's extra pissy, but I don't see him making any more headlines. Did he
pissy at his teammates? No one can stare down a teammate and make them feel like shit more with their face than Aaron Rodgers.
Marino was the best of that. Oh, Marino was so good.
Aaron needs some stubble. I don't like clean-shaven Aaron.
Brady was pretty good at that too. Brady was pretty good at showing everyone else's imperfections.
Also, what's going on? Chargers. Why the yellow pants? You're going out of your way to make this hard. Ravens too. Screw you, Ravens.
Weird.
You're playing
uniforms.
the Vikings, and you're like, hey, let's dust off the purple pants here.
Yeah, it was weird.
Let me explore something with you when Mike Ryan says huge scaredy cat Aaron Rodgers. And I'm not going to disagree with you, but Aaron Rodgers is of an age that, to me, if you told me right now, hey, you know who hates getting hit? Nick Folk. Nick Folk hates the way that he's getting better. Once you're over 40, once you're around 40 years old, it seems like a terrible job to be being hit by 330-pound people.
No, I understand. I don't want – it's not my job. But it's also something that he's been doing for 20 years, and now it's just like a super odd time to be all of a sudden like, I'm over this. If you don't want to get hit, don't play the game. There are so many plays that I'm watching Aaron Rodgers in the pocket now this season where I'm like, that dude is old. It's also the Achilles thing, and it's natural. Like, guys don't excel at this age for a reason. There was only one, and we were having an honest debate as to whether or not he cloned himself. last week. Like, he's that much of an outlier. But there's so many times in the pocket where I'm like, Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay would get out of that 9 times out of 10. And now he's just giving himself over to sacks or throwing balls in the dirt or getting rid of it as quickly as he can because the dude just does not want to get touched.
They're 5-4. It feels like they have no chance of making the playoffs. Right?
But then next week they'll put together a complete. I mean, they just
beat the Colts.
They just beat the Colts. They're a confusing team. They piss me off not as much as JJ McCarthy does, but they're getting up there.
They only beat the Colts though because the Colts turned the ball over 6 times.
Well, the Browns beat the Dolphins 31-6, and then the Dolphins beat the Bills 30-13. So they beat them. Doesn't really seem to mean anything in this league.
How old is Stafford? What is the age on Matthew Stafford?
38.
Who doesn't seem to be shying away from contact? And you can certainly make the argument. I mean, the stat I gave earlier is an insanity. To play 6 games and throw 20 touchdown passes against 0 interceptions is a level of perfection and mastery we haven't seen in the sport before, as Jeremy mentioned. But for him to be 38, I can make the argument, could I not, that Stafford is having his best season ever.
I think you could make an argument that you probably trust him more than any quarterback. He's not the best. All right. I trust my team to be great with Patrick Mahomes. I trust them to be great with Josh Allen, but there are elements to their game which also make them special. They have a higher ceiling because they'll make unbelievable things happen, but they'll do the occasional heat check, feel themselves crazy thing. Matthew Stafford, in terms of trustworthiness, I trust him more than anybody. I know that he's not going to do anything crazy in a game.
I want to play the game worst over 500 team and best under 500 team. There's only one team.
I'm good at this game.
There's only one team in the entire NFL that's 5-5, 500. Panthers. So we're going to eliminate them from this game. They're just in the middle.
Their season is done, but they're in the mix.
All right, so there's 2 nominees for worst above 500 team, and it's Steelers-Jags. They're both 5-4. There's no other. All the other team, maybe Bears would be the next, where they're 6-3, but we actually kind of buy in that. So
I'll throw the Bills in there.
Really?
Yeah.
They're not in the Jags Steelers conversation.
Says you're doing the Stugotz, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, but what are you doing?
I don't know if you saw the game yesterday.
They
Dolphins
lost.
won 30-13. That window's closed. That's not a good team.
It has to be for the best under 500 team. I don't think we're going to do better than Ravens.
No,
Ravens
we're not going to do. Well, if
maybe Vikings 4-5.
If Joe Burrow were to come back, all of a sudden you would have Stugotz arguing that no one would want to play them in the Super Bowl. He has them as last year's best team, even though they didn't.
It's Vikings or Ravens for under 500 team. Who
stop. Will you guys stop with the Vikings? They've got a quarterback problem.
They're a good team.
I don't know.
They're not bad.
I see it, but I also don't like them.
The Vikings have a quarterback problem. Okay. Because you're sitting here buying on J.J. McCarthy when you're willing to buy on any quarterback who can go 17 for 27 in a game, as most of them can.
I'm not buying, but I also don't want to let this opportunity slip through my fingers. I'm just at the furniture store staring at it.
Do the Cowboys get any conversation they're under 500?
Their defense is just horrific.
Yeah, it is.
How about the Dolphins? I mean, come on,
1-0.
1-0 since they fired Chris
The game's
Greer.
over.
Stop that.
Defense
Dolphins 3 backup playoffs.
Really good.
Okay. The Dolphins, though, getting
left.
back to what I was originally saying earlier in the show, in terms of surprising results this season, because the Dolphins have now had 2 of these games where they put up 6 points, okay? They did it against the Ravens. They did it against the Browns. Then they go out there against the Bills, and they drag the Bills. Drag the Bills in a game that was never close. You were expecting the entire time for the Bills to do something just because they can be scary offensively and they've got an MVP at quarterback. But in terms of surprising results this season, can it be an 8-point dog at home? Is that the most can it be the most surprising result of the season, or is Cleveland Green Bay going to be that?
No, I think that's the most surprising surprising game. And I'm just wondering, Sean McDermott's got to be the first coach ever to lose a game when the other team called a timeout before the first play, right? That's first time ever.
Yeah, that's probably the first time that's ever happened. Yes, because I've never seen a timeout called before any time has come off the clock.
You realize that, and the timeout is just a chef's kiss.
Okay, but do you realize that McDaniel could have called that timeout on Friday or Saturday, and it felt the same as what? There was no time off the clock.
Pretty sure I saw Randy Shannon do that 6 times.
The Dolphins had no timeouts remaining with 9 minutes left in the first half. Sean McDermott's got to be the first coach to ever lose to a team that had no timeouts remaining with 9 minutes left in the first half, right?
Can I ask the rest of you?
Windows closed, Dan.
If you were Joey Bosa and you had a cast on your arm and your defense stinks and everyone's injured, but you're out there with a cast on your arm, and Achane, who can be tough to tackle and broke a lot of tackles yesterday, if you look at the sidelines and your coach, who looks dumber when he's wearing glasses, just yelling at you, wrap him up. And you can't even give him the middle finger because you got a cast on. You've got it. His hand, I don't believe, was free. I believe the cast was over the entirety of his hand. Was it not?
Sounds like it makes it difficult to wrap up.
It would seem like what good is your coach doing in that spot when a tackle is being broken and you feel bad enough and you look at your sideline and your coach is telling you wrap him up, as if you're not a professional football player who knows that he's supposed to wrap him up.
Well, but what's McDermott supposed to say in that spot? Like, he's yelling wrap it up to everybody else, but if Bosa's involved, it's like, wrap it up. No, except for you, Bosa, because you're wearing a cast and it's really hard for you to wrap it up, but everybody else wrap it up. What's he supposed to say?
Jeremy, would you do me the favor, please? I don't think that a cast should be around the fingers, but I don't know what part of Bosa was hurt that made him wear a cast that now has me imagining that the cast was also wrapping up his fingers, because I don't think that's a cast that they do in medicine, but maybe he had a finger wrist problem. I don't remember. I remember, like, I'm watching this and I'm like, Bosa couldn't. You need your hands to be able to wrap somebody up like you get.
Yeah, my favorite's when they make it the club.
Yeah, it's a club.
That's
a club.
like
no fingers.
Okay, so let's just get something straight. You're allowed to punch players during a game, and you're allowed to actually play the game with a club, which for all intents and purposes is a weapon. If you have a club and you're swinging at people, that's a foreign object.
That's how Owen Hart used it.
Yep. He's got a club, and he's allowed to swing it at people.
Where were you on Lex Luger and the illegal forearm?
I didn't like it,
he had the plate in his
I didn't
arm.
like it. It was all that was a point of contention for me as a kid. How is that allowed? He's got a metal plate in his arm.
It is too bad that Greg Cody is not here with us today, not just because the Homer Dolphins were celebrating, his Homerific Dolphins were celebrating in the locker room as if they had won the Super Bowl.
And he was bragging on the Greg Cody show that came out this morning that he had the Dolphins with the spread yesterday, shockingly.
Yeah, he always picks the Dolphins to keep it close.
To lose, but
right,
cover.
Right. Well, he also had them, though, having a winning season, as I recall.
15th best team. Yeah.
Well, they're about to win 3 in a row. I mean, if you go ahead and look at this schedule.
Now, they might lose the Commanders, and then they might win 3 in a row.
The
Jeremy.
Commanders have lost 5 straight games, and they have Marcus Mariota at quarterback.
That's fair.
And then they have a bye week, and then the Saints with Tyler Shuck, and then the Jets. They're going to go into Monday Night Football at the Pittsburgh Steelers with a chance to get to 500.
W.
How many more
And they got
bad
the Bengals?
teams are there in the NFL than good teams? How many more teams are there that you know are bad?
Is bad or
Because
good? Put them into either category?
Well, because we just talked about the Ravens and the Dolphins schedule, and all of those teams are bad. Like everybody, the next month of games for the Ravens and the Dolphins, they're playing bad teams, and the Dolphins are a bad team.
I think there are more good teams than bad teams.
No.
Yeah. You know who else pisses me off? Atlanta. Who are you?
That's a bad team. Yeah. They're not going in the good bucket. I won't sit for that.
I got 10 bad teams.
I mean, they almost won at New England last week. They should have.
Yeah, but almost winning. I'm doing
Bucks, Patriots, good.
Teams you know are bad and teams you know are good. Yeah. And I think there are a good many more bad teams. For example, I know that the Carolina Panthers, whose season is done, even though they're in the mix, I know they're a bad team. I know the Carolina Panthers are a bad team.
I mean, they won at Lambeau.
Yeah, so did Cleveland.
No, Cleveland won in Cleveland.
Did they?
Yes.
Oh, I thought that game was in Green Bay for some reason. Regardless, winning in Lambeau or not winning in Lambeau, I'm not sure Green Bay's a good team, even though they could be undefeated if not for their losses against bad teams.
They could beat the Super Bowl champions today.
I'm not positive Green Bay's a good team because of what their losses are, not what their wins are.
Yeah, they're strange. They're going to have like one of the better wins in the season if they beat the Eagles tonight.
They've got the worst tie that we've seen in a long time.
Worst home loss to Carolina, and then they lost to Cleveland.
They have one of the best wins of the season, too, though. That first game against Detroit, they killed them.
They're a very strange team.
It's interesting that you've checked out on the Browns, and yet you made that correction on me on where that Green Bay game was played, even though you're not paying attention to the Browns at all.
Dan, I care about being accurate. I'm not a man that's just going to stick to his guns. Also, I had like $400 on that game.
Chris Cody, do me the favor, please, of getting your narcissist father, who I wish was here today.
I was labeling my good and bad teams, but yeah, I'll get that for you.
If not for his trick knee, your father would be here because he would enjoy that there was ESPN's
Taylor Wall.
Taylor Wall was calling a
say?
game here. Well, listen to what he said because you're going to get jealous here, Zaslow. He's calling a basketball game, and I believe this is his introduction. Like he is
opening the broadcast.
He is opening the broadcast on ESPN. Taylor Wall is doing a college basketball game, and this is how he opens it.
All right, welcome back to Charleston. Taylor Wall, Jack DeLongchamp here. As the great Greg Cody would say, college basketball is back, Jack.
That's awesome.
I mean,
that's awesome.
All right, welcome back to Charleston. Taylor Wall, Jack DeLongchamp here. As the great Greg Cody would say, college basketball is back, Jack.
So inside.
Even the guy next to him was just like, okay, whatever that means. Keep it moving.
I mean, that's real confidence, though, at the start of a broadcast to be so.
Do you warn your partner you're
right,
going to do that?
Right. Listen, I'm going to say something. Just roll with it.
You guys had the same kind of reaction to the start of college basketball season that I did, which was, not yet.
It is too early.
Like that's an after Thanksgiving thing for me.
Oh, that's a March thing for me.
I think it's a March thing for like 90%.
It's a 2-week thing for Dan.
Yeah. The people that are really into college basketball are either in Indiana or they gamble way too much.
Not enough options for you on the gambling that you need to do college. You need to do college basketball in November,
dude.
Before you know what anyone is.
The people that make a lot of money on gambling, on sports gambling, they love their college basketball. It's the one with the lines where it doesn't matter what the house has.
I want to talk a little bit about a gambling story that is going to be under the radar, and I want to ask you guys why it's under the radar, because it seems to me that the basketball prop scandals are bigger than the baseball prop scandals, but this most recent Cleveland Guardians scandal that involves Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase. Now, Emmanuel Clase, a year ago, before last season, was as unhittable a human being as there was. He was the best closer in baseball. Every time I watched him pitch, I'm like, how does anyone hit what that man is throwing? They, the middle of last season, were yanked off the field, and then over the weekend, Jeff Passan reported that indictments came out of Brooklyn because in what I believe to be the dumbest way possible, these two guys get caught because people are betting on individual pitches they are throwing. They're betting huge amounts. It's the easiest way to catch. You've heard Mike Ryan say that this is more regulated than it ever has been, and the reason these scandals are bigger than they ever have been is at least in part because all of this is being regulated so closely, and some of the quote-unquote criminals, we're going to do innocent until proven guilty, even though the circumstantial evidence is damning. This is the most obvious way possible to get caught. Let me bet that a pitcher is going to throw a ball in this situation instead of a strike. And then Emmanuel Clase, whose control is impeccable, is throwing a ball straight into the dirt in front of the mound. And there's a huge amount of money being bet on that somewhere when, very few people are betting individual pitches to be a ball or a strike. It really is the dumbest way possible to do this and the easiest way to get caught.
Exactly right. It is the dumbest possible thing, and I don't know where anyone thinks they can get away with that.
But this scandal is not being treated like the NBA scandal. Why?
I think it's just popularity.
Yeah, not as famous.
That's all it is.
I'm learning this person's name for the first time. I don't follow
Hold
the sport.
on, but Jonte Porter is not as good as his job as Emmanuel Clase is.
Oh, I'm talking about popularity in sport.
No, but I got it. But when Jonte Porter was caught, and it was earlier, so maybe that has something to do with it. It was the first thing that arrived where it's like, wait a minute, a nobody player on the end of the bench is allowing unders to cash because he's leaving with an injury. This one, though, is especially dumb, and we enjoyed sort of dissecting how dumb some of the details were around the fixed poker game with Chauncey Billups. We enjoy the stupidity of Terry Rozier risking a salary that is, $26 million a year. It's usually harder to get to the pros because they make so much money. You're not offering them enough with a prop bet to make the risk worth it. The place that it is worth it, and the place that I believe has the biggest problem, even though this is a problem, rest assured it's a problem. It's got the attention of Adam Silver. Adam Silver does not want this anywhere near his league. The place that it is the biggest problem is UFC, because those people aren't being paid enough, and the risk ends up being worth it when they're totally in control. The problem in UFC is those guys have been training so long on how to survive and win that they're very bad at losing and making it look like it's an accident. They're bad at it. Like, people who are watching UFC fighters throw fights can tell, wait a minute, that's remedial. He should be able to... This person is such a favorite that what is happening in that spot is something that, a white belt in karate would be able to defend that better.
They can't just fake taking a punch to the mouth and going down. Like these experts can look at it and say that doesn't look legit.
It's fairly obvious. The one that happened most recently with UFC is super obvious, but also UFC, I would say, is just simply more susceptible to this. College basketball is another one. College football, I guess, but college basketball is so there are so few people that can control the result. But in UFC, you've only got to get to one guy. The criminal only has to get to one guy who needs money and make it worth it to the one guy. And the pay is so shitty in UFC that is a bigger problem than it is anywhere else in sports, because you have one guy who can control the result. And again, what I'm saying is the labor is paid so poorly that you can actually make it a tempting amount of money for a fighter, because, some of these fighters are they're working second jobs. Even you can hear stories of even champions because the pay is so shitty in UFC. To me, that is vastly more dangerous in terms of the structural integrity of the sport, but you're starting from a place where the sport doesn't have very much structural integrity. Boxing and the fighting games, they're notoriously in the sewer and notoriously susceptible to this kind of stuff.
I feel like we could do it in tennis, too. Tennis, and that's why it usually happens.
It happens a lot in tennis.
I feel like tennis is pretty easy.
These scandals there was a massive one with Juventus in 2006 before gambling was legalized here. Like, this is really it's as old as sports are. Gambling scandals around it, and probably some of the more effective ones ever, and the largest in scale. You don't know about them.
Oh, but Mike, hold on a second. The place I've got to stop you is that the money in sports is so giant with the salaries of athletes now. You're talking about tennis. Tennis players are paid well. Tennis winners are paid very well. Even in UFC, the winners aren't paid that well. Yeah. That's why Francis Ngannou is going and doing boxing matches, because even as heavyweight champion of the world, he's like, this isn't enough money. That's why John Jones isn't fighting as much as he could be, because he's like, this isn't enough money to be worth it for me. But in tennis, the checks are big. UFC, no, man. Those are not big. You can absolutely, and it's not a prop bet. It's not like, hey, in one game can you go under here and walk off with an injury. In UFC, what you're talking about is, hey, as a favorite, this loss isn't actually going to cost you very much. Like, if you lose this fight, I can make it worth your time to lose this fight, and you can continue this as a career if you don't get caught.
But don't you think it's legislated in part because the physical aspects of it, like, going down in the fourth round means you get punched, you get knocked out, and also it certainly interrupts your future earnings. In that sport, in that league in particular, Dana is cruel.
But you can have losses there and climb back out of losses. That's
hard.
It's not very hard. I don't feel like that happens very often.
It's hard to climb out, especially if you're on the undercard there. Like, Dana churns these fighters out.
I don't agree with you there. I see all the time fighters fighting big fights who have 4 and 5 and 6 losses. Losses happen in that sport. You can absolutely rebound from that.
A couple, but like lower undercard guys, like I don't think so.
Okay, but that's not what we were talking about. What are you nodding your head at?
Kind of agreeing with Mike that like a few losses in that sport, you're not getting big money fights anymore.
The part that's crazy with Clase and Ortiz is that Clase had been apparently doing this for a couple of years, and then ultimately he brought in Ortiz. He threw a couple of pitches that got flagged, and then right away they were both suspended. So it was just because he wanted to get Ortiz a little taste.
Come on, taste the taste of wetness.
It's a strange advertising campaign.
I have 16 good teams, by the way. Half the league is good.
No way. No!